Let's run it back from the top. All right, here we go. Salute to NBA Nation on this Monday evening. Another edition of the NBA Reports NBA Weekly. CP the Franchise here on the Solo Dolo. On today's episode, the game of the week, man. The Cavaliers reign supreme on top of the NBA's Eastern Conference with a come-from-behind win over the Boston Celtics. Also, I got to put some respect on the Orlando Magic's names. We're going to put the spotlight on the Orlando Magic, my team to watch of the week. Plus, NBA trade rumors, man. We're 2 months away from the trade deadline. We'll talk about some of the latest trade rumors. This is courtesy of our guy, Michael Scotto of the Hoops Hype Podcast. So lock in, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. All right, man. Salute. CP the Franchise in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat. Like, share, and subscribe. Good to be back with you guys on this Monday. Salute to my guy Talento, John Talento in here. Flizzy Flex, J Rose 712. Once again, this is the NBA Report where we recap the week that was around the association, key games, key teams in the spotlight, trade rumors, and sound bites, plus worst take, man. We react to some of the worst sound bites from around the NBA media landscape. So let's start it off, man. Last night was my game of the week. On Sunday, it was a rematch between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics with the number one title, the number one seed, if you will, in the East on the line, even though it's this early in the season. These are the two top teams in the East. So it was a good game, man. Good to see these guys going at it. For Boston, a little bit shorthanded. No Jaylen Brown and no Derek White. And then for Cleveland, they basically had a full house there. You know, still no Max Strus there for Cleveland, but they had a full house. And it was Cleveland who came from behind and got this dub, man. They were down by as much as 14 points in the fourth quarter. But give credit to those guys. Look, when you have Darius Garland and especially Donovan Mitchell, who had 20 of his 35 points in the fourth quarter, you're always going to have a chance for victories here. And that's what Cleveland did, man. Erasing a 14-point fourth quarter deficit to take this one, led by their two stars. And Donovan Mitchell just seemed to make every clutch play for his team down the stretch. And when the Celtics did put two on the ball, they had a clutch play there where they were able to dump it down to Isaac Okoro, who found a cutting Evan Mobley for the baseline slam. So it was just overall, I thought it was a good job by the Cleveland Cavaliers, executing very well in this game. And for the Celtics, look, obviously they're going to be a great team come for this season. And, you know, it's nothing to hang their heads on. No, it's not an indictment by any stretch. I just thought Cleveland was better in terms of executing in this one, and they got the job done. Now, there was some controversy in this game, man, because you had the final 34 seconds take 17 real-time minutes to conclude this game. And so you had some of your purists out there, some of your basketball fanatics who are already up in arms about the state of the game and the state of play in this modern NBA. Not too happy that the final 34 seconds took 17 minutes to put away here. But where do we go here? Because from the Boston side, they're trying to cut into the lead. So you can understand them sending the Cleveland Cavaliers to the free throw line as they're trying to cut the lead from 3 down to a manageable 2-1 and ultimately win the game. And from the Cleveland side, they're respecting Boston's ability to knock down a 3 at will. And so they're up 3 in these closing seconds, bouncing back and forth and putting the Celtics on the line. So now you got fans talking about what are we going to do in these crunch time situations? Do you penalize teams for intentional fouling? Do you limit the amount of intentional fouls in the closing minutes or seconds of a game to 2 or less? So yeah, some people even advocated for taking away timeouts here in terms of late game situations. I mean, look, you can understand it from a Boston standpoint. I get it. It's 34 seconds left and Cleveland's fouling as well. So that certainly led to the slowdown in terms of finishing this game. But hey, you got Kenny Atkinson, you got Cleveland. They're going by the numbers. They're going by the analytics. The analytics is saying, hey, you're up by 3, closing seconds, you got to foul. So these guys are playing the numbers, and the Celtics are obviously trying to catch back up. Who's right in this circumstance? I think it's just one of those situations, man. You have two really good teams from the Celtics' vantage point, a really good three-point team, and the strategy was what it was. And ultimately, once we did finally get to the end of this game, it saw Peyton Pritchard at the line with the C's down by 3. He would end up making the first free throw, tries to intentionally miss the second free throw, and gets called for a lane violation. So ultimately, the Cavaliers got the win 115-111 when this thing was all said and done. Also, I thought a big part of this fourth quarter, in which Cleveland outscored the Celtics 43-27. I thought a big part of the fourth quarter was Cleveland's defense on Jason Tatum. You know, Jason Tatum coming into this game and all season, one of the best isolation scorers in the NBA, averaging 1.18 points per possession in isolation scoring, third most isolation frequency this year. So Mazzulla and the Celtics are upping his dosage in those situations. And by and large, he's been phenomenal in terms of just increasing his game, and I think ultimately improving the Celtics' ceiling. However, in the fourth quarter, he went 2 for 7. There were a lot of plays where he was trying to draw mismatches on the Cavs, whether it was drawing the big out in Jared Allen, or a lot of times drawing the smaller play out in Darius Garland, and Darius Garland holding his own there defensively. So they were able to hold Jason Tatum to just 2 of 7 from the field in the fourth, and I thought that was the biggest difference in Cleveland regaining that lead. Obviously, on the offensive end, Donovan Mitchell doing his thing and getting them the win. 17 points off the bench. 17 points in this game in the fourth quarter for Peyton Pritchard, and he continues to make his case for the NBA Sixth Man of the Year. He's improved his game mightily. Great job by Pritchard. But overall, it was the Cleveland Cavaliers that got the stops. So look, between these two teams, obviously these are the cream of the crop when it comes to the Eastern Conference. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys battle later on this season and ultimately in the playoffs. This Cavaliers team is strong, winning their first 18 out of 21 games. Incredible job there by this team. And they're for real, man. They're definitely for real. When you think about the core that they have, their bench play, whenever you have two dynamos at the point of attack in Mitchell and Garland, you're always going to have a chance. Evan Mobley is doing the damn thing, so they have a chance. But as Ric Flair said, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I got to see it in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I know a lot of Cleveland fans have hit us in the comment section at the NBA Report. Oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. The Cleveland Cavaliers, we're here now. Look, they're taking their steps. They look like a great team under Atkinson. I just got to see it in the playoffs. If they are for real, you got to beat this team 4 out of 7. And the Celtics team, they had a 14-point lead without Jaylen Brown and Derek White. They can still kill you. And the one area of strength for the Celtics, I have to see a team be able to withstand that, and that is their three-point shooting. An area in which the Cleveland Cavaliers are not doing well in terms of defending. So how are you going to man up against that? How are you going to guard up against that? When the Celtics at full strength should improve mightily defensively and be able to limit Cleveland and hold them into droughts. Because conversely for Boston, what they're showing you is on top of their three-point prowess, they can carve you up from 3, but they can also carve you up with their stars. I just mentioned Tatum's ability now in isolation to be a serious threat here. So now you have the star power on top of their ability to shoot the 3. I think they're still going to be a danger. They're still a dangerous team. They have the champs for a reason. But nevertheless, great job by the Cleveland Cavaliers in getting the job done and having a hellacious fourth quarter to take this game. So Cleveland goes on to 18-3, Boston 16-4. Boston is hosting Miami tonight. I believe they have a 4-game homestand. You have a number of guys for Boston that are going to be sitting this one out. A couple of guys out with illness. And that's how these two teams will move forward. But nevertheless, entertaining game last night between the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. I see Artman, formerly known as Steve, has joined us in the building. Salute to Steve. Glad you are with us, my guy. And we are just getting this thing rolling, man. CP the Franchise on the Solo Dolo on the NBA Report. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we are rocking here on NBA Weekly. Okay, I got to get to my next team, man. We got to put some respect on the Orlando Magic's name right now. 15-7. They get the win last night over, I call them the New Jersey Nets, but we'll say the Brooklyn Nets. Tonight you had 5 Magic starters in double figures, including Franz Wagner, who's continuing to lead the way in Paolo Banchero's absence. And shout out to Franz, man. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5.9 assists on his third year with the Orlando Magic, and he's just doing tremendous, man. Tremendous job stepping in as a starter for Paolo Banchero and really leading this Magic team on both ends. This is the Franz. This is the Franz Wagner people were looking for last year. This is the Franz Wagner people were looking for last year. But listen, man, he's stepping up. And in his third year now, whether you want to question, is it because Banchero's out? Obviously, his usage is up, but it's paying dividends. And this was a guy who was criticized, or at least Orlando was criticized, for giving him the rookie max extension. You only reserve that for potential all-stars. He's not that guy, this, that, and the third. Well, there's a lot of people with egg on their face right now because Franz Wagner is killing it right now. Last 10 games, 26.4 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, 7.4 assists, shooting 44% from the field, and a modest 35% from downtown. But he's killing, man. You've seen it against the Lakers. He's got the closeout buzzer beater, and now he's just having good scoring nights as well, man. 20 against the Nets, 29 in the first game of 2 against the Nets. 21 against Chicago, 21 against the Hornets, and then 30 against the Detroit Pistons just last week. So Franz Wagner is really leading this team. And this Orlando team is dangerous, man. They're going to be playing the Knicks tomorrow on Tuesday in a pivotal NBA Cup matchup in Group A. Winner goes on. Both undefeated teams in the NBA Cup. I'm putting a lot of respect on this Emirates Cup, NBA Cup. Both teams undefeated. And this Magic team is third in the East. So you not only have the NBA Cup stuff in the background, but in the NBA standings, you have the Knicks chasing this Magic team for one of the top spots in the East. So you got to give a lot of credit to the Magic, give a lot of credit to Jamal Mosley, because there were a lot of question marks as to whether or not this team was going to, or there were question marks in terms of how this team was going to balance the ship here with Paolo Banchero out with the oblique injury. But they have done a tremendous job. 9-0 at home, 6-7 on the road, won 6 straight games, plus 5.7 in the differential, and they're 15-7 on the campaign. C-Dot says they're so long, we struggle with length really bad. I agree. For the Knicks, this is going to be a tough matchup, man. The Magic have played the Knicks tough since last year with their defense, with their size, and they've become even better now, especially defensively. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the league and best defenses in the league. And give credit to Jamal Mosley as well, because in this era of the modern NBA where we're talking about teams trying to match up with the Celtics or emulate the Celtics in terms of their style of play and their roster composition, Jamal Mosley and the Magic, they're sticking to their guns. They're playing to their strengths, and that is with a 2 big front court. Now they're going with Goga Bitadze and Wendell Carter starting in the front court. So now they're not only big on the perimeter, also in the front court, which is making it very, very hard to get points against this team. They're one of the best teams in terms of protecting the paint and protecting the rim. Number 3rd defense in the league behind OKC and the Houston Rockets. So for the Knicks, get ready for a dogfight because nothing is going to come easy against this team. Jalen Brunson has had trouble with this team. Guys like when Anthony Black goes out there and guards him, that's going to be trouble. They now have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope they can throw at you. Jonathan Isaac. Then you look at the front court. You got Banchero, you have Carter, you have Batazzi, you have Mo Wagner, who's a wild card there off the bench. So this Orlando game is going to be tough, man. They are tough. What was it, 11 out of the last 12 this team has won? Or 12 out of the last 13? $12 out of the last 13. So they're coming in hot, man. Now, you look at some of these games. I mean, wins over the Pelicans, Wizards, Hornets, Pacers, 76ers, Suns. They lost to the Clippers. They beat the Lakers, won against the Pistons, Hornets again. Nets. I mean, how do you qualify those wins? In one respect, you can, in terms of how you look at their long-term prospects, but still, this team is a tough team, and they're a physical team, and that is where, Orlando's their identity now is sort of what you wanted to see what the Knicks used to be. Tough, physical, gritty, rebounding team, and now the Knicks are trying to figure out their offense-defense balance. Mr. Q says need to win the rebound battle or the Knicks are cooked. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. And then I'm also looking at some of these matchups. I'm also looking at some of these matchups between the Knicks and the Magic here because you figure Suggs, Pope, Bitadze, Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner. With that front court, I want to see OG Anunoby against Franz. But will it be who's going to be guarding Franz? Is it going to be OG? Is it going to be Josh Hart? Is it going to be Mikal Bridges? And you're going to have to bang against these guys, against Bitadze and Wendell Carter. So I think OG Anunoby is going to be a key figure here. He's going to have to battle with those guys for rebounds and help crash out there on the boards. Towns is going to be there on the boards, but OG Anunoby's going to have to contribute there. Josh Hart as well. I would have to hope that Anunoby draws the Franz Wagner assignment and kind of takes him out of his rhythm early in this game and then kind of take it from there. Conversely, on the other side, I think these guys are going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Jalen Brunson. The way that they are able to defend, their switchability, the way that they crowd the paint, it's going to be a tough night for Jalen Brunson. Because I can see Suggs, I can see Anthony Black, I can see Jonathan Isaac drawing that assignment. Magic are another switchable team. Teams like that give the Knicks trouble. Switchable, athletic teams, physical teams. They give the Knicks trouble. Look at the Rockets. Look at the Utah Jazz. Jalen Suggs, another good defender in the chat. Salute to JJ. I think this is going to be a tough one, man. Orlando's going to make the Knicks take shots, and they're going to have to be efficient. Mikal Bridges, we talking to you. OG talking to you. Deuce McBride off the bench. Knicks are going to have to make shots because it's going to be tough to come by inside against this Orlando Magic team. And again, it's so interesting with Orlando because it's a great story. It's fantastic to see their young players leading the way They're not a veteran-heavy team, even though they brought in Caldwell Pope. This is a team that is led by their youngsters. But how sustainable is it? How far can they truly go with having a bottom-of-the-league offense? They're 23rd in offense, while they're third in defense right now, ninth in net rating. But does a team who gets the most of their points from inside as well as at the free throw line, they get them easy. How will they match up when they got to go up against more of the high-octane offenses like the Celtics? And, hey, we'll see what happens against the Knicks on Tuesday. And the Cavaliers. They haven't played the Celtics or the Cavaliers yet. I don't believe. Let me just double-check this. Yeah, they haven't played the Celtics or the Cavaliers yet. Oh, they did. They lost to Cleveland. They 120-109. That was the sixth game of the season. They lost to Cleveland. Sixth game of the season. So I want to see how Orlando fares there. And also what happens when Banchero comes back. Does that dynamic with Franz change a little bit? Can they coexist well? Can they turn it up a notch? Do they have another ceiling offensively that they could get to with the two of these guys? Because it seems like when Franz has gotten more of the usage, he's excelled. So let's see what happens when Banchero gets back. But needless to say, this will be the game to watch on Tuesday night. Yes, definitely. I'm just looking at the games on Tuesday night. Definitely. Well, you got Dallas and Memphis. That'll be a good one. San Antonio, Phoenix, Denver, Golden State. Those will be good ones. But that Magic Knicks one will definitely be the game to watch in the East. So let me know your thoughts on that one. We got Jay Boogie in the chat. Darlene Bryant, Will Rose, salute. How you guys feeling, man? Hope everybody's doing well on this Monday. CP the Franchise on the Solo Dolo on the NBA Report, man. Like, share, and subscribe. All right, let's talk about some of the top trade candidates here around the league. My guy Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype just today released his top NBA trade candidates for the 2024-2025 season. And honestly, if you're fans of NBA trade deadline and things of that nature, obviously things can happen that we just aren't aware of, as usually is the case when these trade rumors come about. But the names are kind of lackluster, man. The names are kind of lackluster. I don't think you're going to see any primetime superstar trades being made by the deadline. But a couple of names I would watch. My top 3 names to watch from the NBA trade front. Number 1, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler on the Miami Heat. We all know Butler and the Heat have not agreed to a contract extension. You got Butler, who is 35, entering the final year of his deal. What's going to happen here between Butler and the Heat? Who's going to blink? You have the Heat now, once again, kind of hovering around in the East. Kind of just hanging around like the Heat do. They're not terrible enough. They're not great enough. They're kind of just around. They're 6th right now in the East, 9-9. So they're right there. They're in playing territory this early. They're in, respectable playoff territory this early as well. So what's Riley going to do? Are they going to trade Butler or are they going to keep him? According to Michael Scotto, towards the start of the season, the Nets and the Golden State Warriors were linked to Jimmy Butler. I don't see the fit on the Brooklyn Nets. Neither does Scotto. He's not viewed as a fit. I think that doesn't make sense for them. Now, the Warriors could be interesting. The Warriors, who lost out on the Lowry Marketing sweepstakes, would they go that way for Jimmy Butler and gut some of the depth for Butler? Again, I don't see it, man. But I think they will keep their ears to the streets in terms of the trade market. Because to me, that's the only way that they're truly going to compete in the West. Because, yeah, you can rely on your 12-man rotations all day long, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a reliable second option next to Stephen Curry, you're not going to go far in the West. So all that depth sounds hot looks cool. But the reality is they're not going to do anything in the West if they don't have another frontline starter next to Stephen Curry. So do they go Butler? I mean, the problem is with Jimmy Butler, he's in that 30-plus stay away from category. Just ask the Philadelphia 76ers about that Paul George investment. I mean, who the hell wants Jimmy Butler right now at 35 years old and then trade and then have to re-sign him? That's where it's like, no, thank you. So that's a Butler situation. Now, and as I said here, Butler, if we just double check on Jimmy Butler's contract, he's got the player option for next season at $52 million. He's got a player option at $52 million. That's crazy. What are you going to do? Opt out? Take less money for more years? Or opt in? See what happens there. Will from LIC, big up, King. How you feeling, bro? Yeah, stay away from old plays, man. Classic Heat. But, you know, the name that you always hear, which you're going to hear, which his name is always in trade rumors, is Scary Terry. I mean, Terry Rozier has been on the trade deadline for 10 years straight. So whoever wants him, whatever you're into, go ahead and do that. Now, my second player on the names to watch, Brandon Ingram. Knicks just saw the Pelicans last night without Brandon Ingram. He's a guy who wants a max bag. Not worth a max bag, in my opinion. What does New Orleans want to do? They have no direction right now. Great coach in Willie Green. Nice young talent. When you look at Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. I like Grand Theft Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins. I like their young guys. But in a loaded West, with the injury-plagued roster, they're going nowhere fast. They're damn near the bottom of the West. And as Michael Scotto says, they are headed into luxury cap territory. Luxury tax. Current projection nearly $3.6 million over the threshold. Pelicans want to avoid paying the luxury tax ideally, which would mean they'll have to make a cost-cutting trade by the deadline. Another major decision of management and ownership is figuring out the future. Forward Brandon Ingram leads a team with 23-5-5 during his 5+ years with the Pelicans. Would the Warriors be interested in him? That, to me, is an interesting potential landing spot. We got to look at all the numbers and, you know, nerd it out with the calculator, second apron it up. But is this a spot for the Warriors here? Could be interesting. According to Scotto, Ingram wants to land as close to max contract in free agency as possible, while the Pelicans would prefer to pay him slightly above his current $36 million salary. So he's looking to get, you know, he's looking for 50s range. And the Pelicans are saying, you know, maybe a little 40s, maybe a little 40 piece. But what are they doing? I mean, the whole Zion thing is putting a dark cloud over the organization. You don't know what's up with him. Can he stay in shape? Is he healthy? Is he mentally in shape? Who knows? They're all over the place. But I think Brandon Ingram is my second name to watch. And could it be the Dubs? Could it be the Dubs? You know, a lot of teams could be making a play here at the deadline in the event that other teams are looking to pull it back. Are the teams looking to pull it back and get into the tank with Cooper Flagg and Harper and these guys on the wings in college? Ace Bailey. Who's gonna be the tank commander of the NBA come the trade deadline? Is it the Pelicans? Salute to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D, man. $5 super chats to salute NBA report. Rule changes definitely coming to fix the Trey All-Star game and tanking because the concern of watchable ball gets serious now. Yeah, we just talked about it with the ending of the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Is that a sign of things to come? You know, people, good luck getting Gen Z to watch the final 34 seconds there that took 17 minutes to end. Those guys, any Gen Z that was suck watching that game said, you know what? I'll wait for House of Highlights or Sports Center to give me the breakdown who won this game. I'm out. I'm gonna keep scrolling on the TikTok. Learn me a new challenge or something. Final name on this list of names to watch, and again, not a great list of names. Kyle Kuzma. What is Kyle Kuzma gonna do with his life here? You got the Washington Wizards, the worst team in the NBA, going nowhere fast, loses the 14 straight games. Is Kyle Kuzma going to finally get dealt? He declined the invitation to go to Dallas. And maybe Dallas is thankful that he did, because they ended up with Daniel Gafford and ultimately getting PJ Washington and went to the finals last year. So you got to love their fit with Dallas. But what is Kuzma going to do? The team is going absolutely nowhere. According to Scotto, Washington Wizards general manager said the team is in a deconstruction phase. Several veteran players could appeal to contending teams. Obviously, Valanciunas is on that list. They've got Malcolm Brogdon on that list. But is Kyle Kuzma going to finally try to go somewhere to win for real? Or is he just going to sit on that money and chill out? Now, credit to him. He said he's a consummate vet. He's trying to raise up the young guys on the team, like Alex Sarr and those guys. Okay, cool. According to Michael Scotto, other teams who kept tabs on Kuzma include the Bucks, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, Cavaliers. I don't see the Cavaliers going for that. I don't really think that Kuzma is their missing piece. They've got enough offense. Or do they go Kuzma? That would be interesting, but I don't necessarily think he pushes the needle. Miami Heat, forget about it. I don't think he helps them at all. Lakers, hey, probably should have never let him go. Warriors, again, in that wing market. Bucks, who do the Bucks give up for Kuzma? And then what would they do there? Do they put Middleton on the bench? That would be an interesting configuration. Does he move the needle for them? Bucks have been playing fairly well. After a lackluster start, they're playing well. So those are kind of the names to watch, man. Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma. What do you guys think there, man? Leave me some comments in the chat and let me know what you think. Is there another name out there who could be on the block that we're just not thinking about? Drop it in the comments and we'll reply back. Chuck D says Kuzma on the Cavs will be something. I hope not, though. C-Dot says the Knicks could use Kuzma. I mean, look, I do think the Knicks could use some more wing depth for sure. I like some more grittier players on the defensive end. Don't necessarily need offense. Don't need offense at all. We need defense, man. We need grit. JJ says Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic. Yep, those two guys could definitely be on the go for sure. That was also in Scotto's article here. Will the Bulls finally pull the trigger? Will the Bulls finally pull the trigger and fully dismantle this team? It's going to be left to be seen. On that front, Scotto says, what does he say about LaVine? LaVine owed $138 million for the 26-27 season, including a player option. And Vucevic owed $41 through next year. Chicago still has asking prices that are too high for LaVine and Vucevic, given their contracts. If both players continue their torrid paces, will a playoff contender believe adding either player will be the missing piece? Yeah, that's going to be tough, man. Especially in the age of the second apron. That Zach LaVine contract, it's looking kind of toxic here. I mean, how much does he even have left, man? Let's see what's up here. Let's let everybody in the chat hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's go to Zach LaVine. It's on my sports track. Okay. Yeah. Zach LaVine still has, he's got 43 coming to him this year, 45 next year, and then a player option for 48. So who wants to take on that 48 on your books for Zach LaVine? Tough call, man. Absolutely tough call. All right, what do we got on the NBA docket for tonight? Like I said, tomorrow, Tuesday night games are looking good. You got Atlanta, New Orleans. That's not a league pass watcher. Boston, Miami. Boston sitting most of their guys. Chicago, Brooklyn, if you're into that. But hey, Minnesota Lakers is a game to watch. Minnesota having their own struggles, Knicks fans. People are they're already blaming Julius Randle, ready to pack his bags. So let's see, man. Knicks are going to be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves in just a couple of weeks in Minnesota. And then they will see the Randle homecoming in January. So that will be must-see TV as well, man. But anyway, man, I'll catch up with you guys next week. Remember to do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Another edition of NBA Report, man. CP the Franchise. I'm out of here. Have a great night, people. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Peace.